Welcome to The Next Film. Today we are talking to actor Will Madden. Will is that actor who is consistently starring in successful indie features such as Sundance Indie, Beast Beast, Jim Cummings' The Wolf of Snow Hollow, the South by Southwest micro-budget indie Erupjca, and most recently Pete O's Erupjca. No!
Chloe, you were close.
I was so confident.
You were almost close.
God.
Erupjca.
Erupjca.
Yeah. Sia.
Erupjca.
Mm-hmm. Soft J.
Pete O's Erupjca.
Mm-hmm.
Starring opposite Charli XCX, which premiered at TIFF, and literally just 2 days ago was announced that it was going to premiere at South by Southwest.
Yes. Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Very exciting. I'm assuming you're going to go.
I will be there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your brother also got a film there, right?
Yes. My brother Danny Madden is a filmmaker.
Yes.
And he co-wrote and directed his third feature called Downbeat, which is going to be also having its world premiere at
Very
South by
exciting.
Southwest.
Is your whole family going to come, do you think?
Yes. I was
That's
texting
so
with my dad
cool.
today. They're going all out right in the hotel right downtown.
Aww. I love that. Has that ever happened before? Or
No.
you were in one of his films, right?
Yeah, I've been in each of his films.
Okay.
And I actually have a little sort of secret cameo in Downbeat.
Oh, really?
As well, for a little scene.
Oh, cool.
If you blink, you'll miss it, but it's that they actually was in production at the same time as Erupjca.
Oh, got it.
So this will be the first time that we both have films at a festival that my whole family will be able to attend.
That's so awesome.
We have a couple sort of bummer stories of our first film, Beast Beast, which you mentioned, premiered at Sundance in 2020.
Which I loved, yes.
Yeah, that premiered at Sundance in 2020, which my parent and we were going to play South by as well.
Wait, I was there. I was there at Sundance in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that's where. Wow, very cool.
Yeah. And our parents were like, "Well, we're just going to play South by, so we'll just catch it at South by." Cut to 2 months later, I'm already in Austin in an Airbnb.
Oh wow!
Before everyone else came. This was literally 2 days before we were all flying out, and I went out early.
Oh, no.
And my brother called me, and he was like, dude, come home.
Yeah.
Why? It's like the world's ending.
Oh, no.
Okay. So that kind of pulled the rug out from underneath.
Oh, man.
So this would be the first time my whole family will be able to really be at a proper premiere, U.S. premiere.
Oh, my God. That's so
of
awesome.
Our films, and they're both playing at the same festival. It'll be very, very special.
Oh, well, I wish you the best with that. That's exciting. I'm trying to plan to go, so maybe I'll see you there.
I love South by Southwest.
Yeah, I haven't been there.
Yeah, I really it's a perfect balance of giant festival that also can feel really sort of, in my experience, intimate, and they really do a good job curating filmmaker gatherings and networking events. I've been to other big festivals that are newer, and they haven't quite caught the balance of of how important it is to have 4 to 6 p.m. every day at this bar or that bar.
Yeah.
Sundance is good at that as well, of having there's a SAG of sponsored event, a brunch, and then a WGA sponsored event.
Yeah.
And those are really important. I think. I don't know if we're going to get into film festival stuff as well.
Well, it's
maybe jumping the gun.
I was going to say I actually had that question planned for way later, but I love that we're getting to that right now. Sure.
Get into it.
Well, because I just want to know, if you can say, do you have a favorite film festival?
Short answer is no, I don't. Long answer. Yeah. I'm going to go for 10 minutes. No, but there's a lot of really amazing, actually life-changing, amazing small festivals.
Okay, yeah.
That kind of have my heart.
I love that, yeah.
There's a film festival called the Ouray International Film Festival in Colorado. And they just had their 6th year last year in June. And it's this amazing small festival curated by some really amazing artists and filmmakers. And they just provide a really beautiful experience for the filmmakers. It's because there's kind of a divide between which festivals are actually about trying to sell your movie, which is maybe not even a thing anymore. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But then then there's all these amazing small festivals that prioritize a filmmaker experience and fostering filmmakers and artists and having them network and collaborate. Yeah. I've literally had professional collaborations come out of just going to festivals.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I've definitely made a lot of friendships and collaborations from festivals, but there's this one that I'll also shout out, Vashon Island Film Festival. this little island off of Seattle, which is absolutely
Whoa.
gorgeous. They put us up in like this beautiful lake house. I mean, they also only chose like 8 narrative features. So it was like a very like well selected little group of us but they flew us out. They put us up. Like, I don't know if I've ever been so pampered by a film festival. And that's kind of like their point is like, we know that y'all are like, you work so hard and then you have to essentially like most of the time, you have to like get yourself there and like, we just want to like take care of you. And it's just like, oh, thank you. And it was the cutest little town, great theater.
Similar, sounds like similar sort of spiritual vibes to Ouray. Or
it's
Film
nice.
Fort in Boise, Idaho is also another really good one.
Cool.
That's like, it's kind of like a mini South by Southwest in that it's under the umbrella of this festival called Tree Fort, which is sort of a huge music festival that then they have like a dance fort, comedy fort, film fort. So it's like a small little like offshoot of the music festival, similar to I think how South by kind of is, although it's just as big at South by.
So, because you went to South by then again, since you didn't get to for Beast Beast for Jessica.
Yes, right. Yeah. Right? So Jessica in 2022.
Okay, so that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, which I also saw, also super great. I saw a private screening or no, the first like theatrical screening, I think.
Yes, we were playing at the Lumiere Cinema.
Yeah, and it was moderated by Daniel Scheinert.
Yeah, Daniel Scheinert.
Yeah.
Who's a pal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good turnout.
Yeah, that was great. That was January 2023.
Okay.
And we shot, that was my first collaboration as an actor and as Pete O's as a director. This was in the sort of the middle of quarantine in January 2021. And Pete had been a filmmaker and editor for over 10 years, but kind of realized that like I could probably just make a feature film by myself, basically. I have the tools. I have a computer. I have, at that point, over 10 years of experience cutting features and this and that. So he started to experiment with micro-budget filmmaking, basically. And he started with a film he did in Ohio with 2 actors.
Because I met him briefly that night, and we're both from Ohio.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So his film Youngstown, Ohio, was his first.
Right next to my hometown, yeah.
Yeah, oh, there we go. His first foray into like 2 actors and 1 filmmaker. That's the whole crew. And they shot for 2 weeks. They all wrote it together. They didn't know what the story, where it was going to go, but they had sort of half an outline.
Yeah.
And then Jessica was sort of his part 2 of, trying that experiment. Yeah. What if I try 4 actors and we go live in a trailer in New Mexico during the winter and quarantine, not, half a mile from any other homes. And that was another experiment of a micro
and a big success too.
Yeah,
it got distribution and
it did got
South by
distribution. Premiered at South by and played some just great festivals around the country.
And then so you said this is your 3rd collaboration, and so it seems like you work with a lot of the same filmmakers over and over again, right?
Yeah. I've been lucky to kind of have collaborations that sort of grow and it's you see it also in like
on the bigger
on the
scope.
Olympic level of
sure.
De Niro and Scorsese for decades, and you kind of
and then like Emma Stone and Yorgos now, Ethan
Jesse
Hawke,
Plemons,
Linklater.
There's these really cool collaborations that are that happen, and like it just makes sense, of like as far as getting to know an artist and trust them and. I come from like the theater, doing repertory theater, where we're like, then it's like these people so well through and through, and then the acting and the characters and doing the production themselves are kind of the rarity.
Yeah.
Rather than in film, it's usually like I don't really know anyone I'm working with till I'm there.
Yeah.
And that can be a more challenging way to work at times. So
yeah, especially for the like story, which is why I like a lot of directors who, if it's given like the right story, like they have rehearsals or have like with Booksmart, which is a very random but movie I love so much.
Right.
But like Olivia Wilde had the 2 leads because they were supposed to be best friends, so they like shared a bedroom for like 3 weeks leading up to the film.
Great. Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, same.
So I've collaborated with a few different filmmakers, several times.
Do you like prefer that? Do you think?
I guess I prefer just in the way that it's like I trust them. I have no doubts going into the production that I can trust them, and that's like I think being a real professional actor is just like being able to just like trust a complete stranger.
100%.
And that's something we're all working on, because there's always that part in prep, and when you're preparing for something, that you're like, is the director going to think that this is crazy? Or is the director really not going to respond to this kind of risk taking?
Or like, am I going to have opportunities to do both of these, like try these
Sure,
two
yeah.
different avenues, or like even have a conversation with them about
How many
it?
takes are we going to,
Yeah.
are they going to be one take? Are we going to go all,
Yeah.
so having someone who you've already worked with is like, well, that sort of real estate in my mind is just taken care of, I can just focus on the work more.
Do you think it was like that from the very beginning? Or what was that moment that you kind of felt like you could trust them? Or was it like after you saw the finished film and it was good?
Usually it's after. Well, when
You're like, oh, that was actually really good. So I can.
Yeah, I think like Jessica, I had seen Pete's other two films and I liked them a lot, but I didn't know how we were going to really work as director.
Which, to be fair,
actor.
like sometimes, like there's some friends I have that like, or friends in the past that like, you can be really good friends, but then you don't like work well together, and you just kind of have to accept that too.
Yeah,
like some people
that's a
work well
reality.
together, sometimes you don't. It's just a vibe.
Yeah, it's like, well, you can't like live with any of your best friends. Sometimes it's like, I love you, I would spend every day hanging out, but we can't live together. We have opposing or like tension as people, or just like cramp each other's style in a way. And I've had that with friends that I've worked with as directors or other actors, even more so.
Yeah.
But usually by the first day, in my experience, I get the vibe of like, how is this gonna work? It's like, how many takes in is the director gonna like come up and start zhuzhing things or offering things that are helpful?
Do you like that?
Yeah, I like to be directed.
Yeah.
Which sounds sarcastic or something, but it's
No,
true. It's like
yeah.
some people are like, let me just kind of do it. But usually it's like I'll come to the table with my ideas about it, but that's really not, that's only half the battle. It's like it's the director's movie. So, it's always about gauging like how open are they going to be to like shepherding this process, or are they really going to be like, no, they wrote this, particularly if it's a writer director, which usually in my experience in independent film, most of the things I've done have been a director who wrote the script or co-wrote the script. And that's like, how much of an idea are they going to have of like, this line's got to be this way, versus like, I cast you, let's see, I trust your artistry and your sort of creativity. What are you bringing to it?
Yeah.
And by the first day, usually by lunch, it's like, I know how this is going to go. And I either need to sort of fortify myself or like just go home tonight and start recalculating some things, to like get through it, or to just work well, or it's a big sigh of relief, and then it's like, oh wow,
this is going to be good.
Thank God, I'm really going to be able to really go anywhere in any place, and there's a sort of beautiful, just sort of merciful presence as the director saying, I accept all your failure, and that's okay, because we're going to sift through it. Because I trust that you're going to do something, we're going to find something together that's really worthwhile. And that was really one of the big like film acting lessons that I realized, I guess for theater acting as well, but like you really got to sift through the bad stuff to get to the really good stuff, in my experience.
Yeah.
Usually like my best work is like sandwiched between the two worst takes.
Okay.
Like honestly, it's
I feel that. Yeah.
It's like you try and it doesn't work, and then you're exhausted and you're tired and and then you kind of surrender.
Yeah.
And then you kind of give into something,
Yeah.
and then it's like, there it is, cool. And then you try to recapture the next thing, and it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So it's always that you need a director who's not going to start sweating when you screw up, basically.
Which is why I've heard is why Fincher does so many takes, is because he's like, at a certain point they stop trying and surrender, and like
that's an interesting.
But also, I mean, I don't know if it's the best, because like they're also just exhausted. But so I'm not saying that's the way to go, but it does kind of sound like there's a similarity.
He's
like
doing it right. He's doing something right.
Very true. Yes.
Honestly, I don't understand actors who kind of just want to get in and out. That's the beautiful thing about actors, that everyone's so different and weird, and we have our own things. So like, it makes me, I would lose sleep thinking that I'm going to get 2 or 3 takes. It's like, no, we're here. Like I've also heard, speak of Fincher, all my algorithms give me all the Fincher, interviews. And he's like, people are like, 30 take, that's so crazy. And he's like, yeah, well, like the reality is we've spent $250,000 on
Yep.
this day, the caterers, the trucks, the blah blah blah, and it's like we're flying all these actors from around the world to these hotels, and we're gonna get 2 takes, and then we're gonna try to do it quickly. It's like we curated this environment. We're spending a fortune on this environment.
Yes,
that's really.
I saw that interview and I 100%
like
agree, and it really was like because I do think there's like this the speed that you have to have an indie film because you're constantly, there's not a lot of money, not a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, we got to get through this and move on to the next thing. But there is something too, like, now that we're here, we're in the moment, like, be present with everyone. Let's take our time at least getting what we need to get. Do it good, or else it doesn't matter. You know, none of this matters if it's not good.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I guess there's even more to go into that because sometimes it's also not about the result, but
Yeah, it depends on the production. It depends on like what kind of money's in the production.
But I have also heard of some like very successful actors who only like to do a couple takes.
Yeah,
and
like
it really
I'm not
is like
surprised. Like in a weird way, I get it. It's funny. You hear actors who are like 80 and they're like, you just show up and you one take and then lunch. It's like I don't know. Maybe when I'm 80, I'll feel that way. But like I want to do literally 15 takes of every single thing.
Well, maybe that's also coming from the theater because we have such an extensive like reharsal time, where you get to like really just like read through it and live in it and experience it and try new things. And have you ever worked on an indie film that had rehearsals or just a film in general?
I mean, like film rehearsals,
So like on set already?
Which I don't really consider rehearsals. Like I was working
that's like
on
blocking or something.
I was working on one of the first projects I'd worked in film, and we kind of got together. It was like 5 actors. None of us had ever met each other, and we were like, there's a big dinner scene. It's kind of an extensive thing, and we like basically just said the lines to director came over. Let's like rehearse. And we basically said the lines to each other once or twice, and the director was like, well, I don't want to rehearse it to death, so like let's it's like
said it.
We would rehearse for like 6 weeks on a play and still not really find it yet. And there's it's
which again going back to actor's process, because that is like Linklater with like the Before trilogy where everyone thinks like he just like they're making it up, and it's like they rehearsed that to death like a play. Like they meet up weeks ahead of time, constantly talking through it, and he's like, if you don't if you can't rehearse it, like you should be able to recreate it. But then again, on the other side, there's other actors who are like, I don't want to waste it on rehearsal. Like I want to save it for the moment.
Yeah. I honestly think it's just a misunderstanding of what the point of rehearsal is. Like the point of rehearsal is not to find it, capture it, and then do it again. That's not like freezing it in carbonite and then being like, here it is, remember the thing we did yesterday? It's exactly
like that. Yeah,
it's like what I was taught in the theater. It's like it's about finding the container, being able to touch the walls of how far you can go in the scene.
Love that.
And then once okay, I can go that far, I can go this far. Now we're here, we can do anything in here, and it's going to be different every time, and it's good, but we're not going to go past that wall, so to speak, like that. Analogy is kind of how I see it. Being in a giant like Tupperware.
No, I love that analogy. I love that. I think actually maybe more filmmakers should like kind of not do theater, but like like maybe get into theater or take like a theater or a playwriting class, because there's been a lot of really like successful filmmakers that started in theater or like writers and definitely obviously actors. But I really like that approach and that thought of like, it's not to recreate it. It's to play. It's to figure out,
some of the best acting in films are from people who came from the theater. Certainly the older echelon of folks like Coppola and stuff. But even like Sam Mendes, and he goes back to theater to direct things. It's like you see those films, like the best films of theirs. It's like every actor who's cast to take the ticket or give the coffee is like excellent, and it's like, oh wow, there's a real someone who curates an environment in a set where that actor can be free in what I think is maybe the hardest roles, which are the day player coming in as a day player on a big set. Is like a lot, maybe not more difficult or nerve-wracking, but it's as nerve-wracking and difficult as the lead in my experience, coming in and needing to like be free and breathe and be able to play when you're on set for one day with the leads who have been on set for weeks. You know, like that's
and you don't know anyone, which makes it a little
and everyone's just focusing on their own things, and you're just you know, it's like it's. I heard an actor say once, like, if you were to design an environment to screw up good acting, what you'd come up with is like a film set. Like, it's like actually what the result would be, and like how to make someone feel not comfortable and free to like invent. It's like it's this, you know, the thing where you just feel watched and feel pressured, which is what a lot, you know, it's a real. Directing must be very challenging. I never really directed.
Well,
but,
so I actually, I feel like this is going into some questions I have, which are kind of like bouncing in my head because these are ones that are not prepared. But I'm an actor turned director, so I feel like I'm not afraid of actors, and I've approached my directing and filmmaking from a very much like actor first perspective and an actor mindset. Right. But I do think there's a lot of indie filmmakers or just filmmakers in general who are scared of actors because I take a lot of like classes here and there, and they always talk about like being scared of actors or like how to talk to actors or direct. And you know, the first thing they always recommend is for like a wannabe director to take an actor class. But it kind of sounds like maybe through this discussion, like communication and just like talking to your actors up front about like, what is your process? How can I best support you and support you doing your best work? Like, how can I make space for you? Like, what do you think? Like, what would be your like dream scenario of an indie set? Because obviously there's like studio sets where things are also going on, but like in an indie set, it could be micro budget, could be like more than that, like, you know, a couple million. But what's like your ideal scenario? Yeah,
well, I did a film once where I asked, they were flying me out to New York from LA to act in this movie, and I asked them to fly me out a week early, and I was like, I'll stay on whatever floor of the whoever's already in the, you know, and like we doing pre-production, and they flew me out a week early, and where I just got to hang out and basically do like pre-production runs with the director, who I had met once in person. We're about to do this 3-week shoot. It was a very intensive shoot. So like that ended up being the best kind of rehearsal preparation I could have asked for, was just like hanging out with him.
Cool.
Jeff Ryan is his name, the filmmaker. And him and I just got to like actually become really good friends and like earnestly and vulnerably, you know, share our like fears about the production, about like what's going on, and like really just like lay it all onto each other. Yeah. Which is not really maybe what you will always want to do. Like, I'm so scared, but just the feeling of like, oh, we could just really trust each other and like in that. And that, I think in film, it's like when you're not going to have rehearsal, like a proper rehearsal process of like weeks, which would be my ideal answer. It's like the whole cast gets in a room and we really open this thing up and we do it all sorts of
I think that should be more of a norm, to be honest. I would also love that. And I feel like I want to advocate for that time and money. Obviously, in indie film. There's those two things can be very like, you know, not an option, but yeah, I agree that would be useful.
Yeah, it becomes the director kind of hat in hand behind the agent's backs being like, hey, do you want to come and do some rehearsals for free?
Well, I mean, unless you like advocate, like in your budget, like, you know.
Yes,
with the agents, then you can put it in the contracts and pay for it.
I think a lot of times,
if you have the budget for it.
Yes, which is usually no. It's usually 95%. We don't even have catering. Like, how are we going to 2 weeks of rehearsal for what you want to see the lines first? But just the idea of like, you know, I think another thing with directors is like, they're like you said, a lot of directors are afraid of actors. In different ways. Not that they're like, oh, don't hit me. You know, they're but like they don't know how. There's so many like weird ideas and stigmas about acting and method actors versus blah blah actors and stuff that it's like an actor. People are like, oh, they're like actors are some like weird, you know, exotic creatures. To like we have to be delicate with them, or we have to this or that. But I think a lot of the time, in my experience, when the director is like, we want to get together and rehearse. I know it's kind of, you know, whatever, but even just offering that as a thing to do, or even like just having coffee or lunch or seeing a movie, like literally, it sounds sort of, you know, simplistic, but in my experience, it's gone a long way. Before you get like day one on the set or a day or two before, it's like actually being able to just air out and like, you know, not collaborate, but just get to know one another as like people has been, for at least an actor like me, it helps me just trust. It's hard to just trust implicitly.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're asking actors to do a lot. I mean, like, you have to be vulnerable, and then like with all this craziness happening around you, be present, be open, like whatever we're asking of you also in the scene. And then to just kind of show up and, you know, just trust that I'm going to, you know, do everything that you're giving me, all this work that you've done. Like, I'm going to go off and make a good movie with it. Like, you just have to like let go. And
it's really a crazy thing that actors are asked to do. And I was thinking about this today on my way over here, of like acting and the great actors, and like almost like the problem is like the great actors. I like to think a lot about athletes and like Olympic level athletes. I think of them, the great actors, sort of in the same way of like when someone's so good at whatever sport it is, they make it look easy. And like Meryl Streep makes acting look easy. Like Denzel Washington makes it like, oh, like any you can.
Well, that's why everyone thinks they can do it.
Right. There's this idea.
It's like it's just talking. Look, they're just talking.
And I've felt feelings, and I understand what that character, you know. Yeah. But like the reality of acting is nothing like watching a movie. It's nothing like sort of experiencing a movie. It's very different. Doing Beast, which is the first feature that I did with my brother. It really was. I thought I knew what I was doing before going into it. It's like, I've been acting for my whole life. I was in the theater, and I've done a bunch of short films, whatever. But like the actual reality of doing a lead in a film for weeks on end with demanding material, it's like I had no idea. Your
part was heavy. I mean, you did a phenomenal job. So you made it look easy.
Yeah,
but it was a heavy. It was heavy, right?
It was. It was heavy. Yeah, I mean, it's just like very heavy material, with like life and death thing. People dying and all this crazy stuff happening. And it was like, wow, I didn't really realize what just like the day to day is. Like. How do I prepare for a 12-hour day, 3 in a row, and then a couple days off, and then another one, and then a couple days off, and then 4 in a row, all over the map, and that I remember finishing that movie, which is 2018, we shot it, and afterwards I was like, I had like triple the respect and awe for the great actors that I worshipped before, being like, wow, I had really no idea what to do that level of work, what it really took.
Did you have like any key takeaways from that off the top of your head?
Yes.
That like made you better prepared for the other, all the upcoming films? Because you've done a lot of indies now.
Yeah, it's cool. I've been able to like each year at least work on like a really cool feature with people that I know or don't know.
Well, and you're like all rising up together, which is really cool.
Yes. Yeah. It was some cosmic timing of my close friends who are filmmakers. Right when I moved out here, everyone was kind of starting to get opportunities, and honestly, I mean, am a few years younger than a lot of my filmmaker friends. So by the time they were all kind of hitting 30, and they were like, I gotta make my first feature, like
it worked out for you.
That is such a rite of passage as a filmmaker to do your first feature. That they were all desperate enough to be like, fuck it, like, get me a camera. I'll spend my $8,000 in savings. We're going to make a movie. And I happened to like be standing in the corner of the room, be like, and then like, but I PA'd it. Like I kind of went out of my way. I was PAing on all their sets before that. And I was like, I'll do anything. I'll carry the cords and have the grip
so I didn't
yell
know
at
you
me.
had. I didn't know you had like behind the scenes. Like obviously, I know you're like writing on the things you're making with Pete. Yeah, but I didn't know you worked on those sets.
I've done a lot of PAing.
Okay,
I did location scouting and managing once.
Oh, cool!
The hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Really? Wait, I'm curious why.
I got to do location scouting on this film called Greener Grass, which was a really
I've heard of
incredible,
it. Vanishing Angle.
Independent Vanishing Angle film.
The braces on the poster.
Yes, it was this like really crazy sort of like Lynchian meets SNL comedy that shot in the same town, my hometown, which is where we shot Beast during the same summer, because Vanishing Angle produced both films.
Okay.
And so I got to do location scouting in pre-production for Greener Grass, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And it's very specific. Once if you know the film, it's like, oh wow,
Okay,
it's
sorry,
very
no.
specific. Almost
Got
like
it.
Tim Burton, like Edward Scissorhands.
Got it. So you had to find like very specific things.
Really specific houses and like and learn that job and
Yeah.
my respect for that job
Yeah.
and for producing.
It's the nerdy.
you
I
know.
don't know why, but I love location scouting. Like that's like actually.
You do?
Well, like for my own films, I don't know if I'd want to do it for someone else.
Yeah.
Because I won't go
just
into that.
challenging.
But
It's-
that's my favorite. I can't imagine delegating that because. Long story. Like I just feel like there's more things I should and need to be delegating as I grow and scale on my films. It's something that I'm learning and it's a process. But like
Yes.
location scouting is not one I want to do. I'm obsessed with like I will go on Google Maps and I will literally go like on a street view and I will just walk the streets until I find like that specific building I'm seeing in my head.
That's awesome. Well,
It's really weird and specific, but
yeah, that
it's-
makes sense.
it's fun. I think there's
Yeah.
like an excitement, like a dopamine that I get when I find a place, you know? So maybe that's what it is.
I imagine it's like casting in a way of like.
Yeah. Or maybe I just don't have anything better to do with my
Or
time.
maybe I got 4 hours to walk around.
I'm obsessive and a hyper-focused ADHD, so that could
Yes.
also be why. But
Yes.
anyways, we came here to talk about acting. So
Yes. So the question, what was the big takeaway of that?
yes.
And there was a big one that I continue to learn. This concept, remember when I was in acting school, my teachers used to say acting and growing as an actor is like a spiral staircase. And that you're always coming around to the same challenges. However, you're also growing at the same time. So it's like you're always being like, oh, that thing that I thought I
Yeah.
stumped, that stumped me and I thought I conquered
Yeah.
when I was 18. Now I'm 25 and it's like, it's back and it's crazier than ever. And then you'll figure out, like, I actually got that down. And then a year will go by and like, actually, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's that spiral staircase of always kind of growing and
Yeah.
coming. It's only like the same 7 challenges you have. I think as an actor, maybe it's similar as a director. It's like, it's always the same stuff that you're getting stumped by. It's like, how am I going to access this emotional reality? And how am I going to like, let that inform the way in which I'm dealing with the other person to get what I want. You know, that's all acting basically is.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's simple, but it's incredibly challenging. So doing a feature film, whether it's, you know, out of order, which is always, or if you have a rare experience to shoot chronologically, the big takeaway was, you know, I was always kind of trying to spend a little bit of energy focusing on the scenes that were yet to come, like the heavy scene, like the big heavy scenes that I knew I was going to have to shoot in like 2, 3, 4 weeks or 3 months from now. The thing that literally made me lose sleep over, like, how am I going to do that thing? How am I going to find my way into that emotional reality? Or that, even if it's not even emotional or imaginative reality, but just like that text or that thing or what's the scene and just the thing that keeps you up at night. I like let that kind of be a little bit of like an albatross around my neck as I was shooting all these other scenes, and it kind of prevented me from just being, in simple terms, being present. You know, it's like I always had a little bit of like my mind or sort of claw on like that thing I'm going to have to do in 3 weeks.
Right.
And I see that in some of my performances, like, oh, yeah, I'm sort of playing that. I'm like, I can see myself kind of like playing that already a little bit, instead of like really living and letting the present moment and reality of, you know, what's happening kind of be, and then inform what that will be later, if that makes sense.
No,
like,
yeah, it
and
definitely
to really
does.
suspend the horizon to be presence. Because that's all that there is. Like, I thought that it would be helpful to kind of have a hand on that thing in the future, and it doesn't. It's a kind of another just way of trying to control and feel, I think, safer. And like,
Definitely.
like I can control whether it's good or not, which I don't think you can.
You can't, no.
That's my hot take about acting. You have no control.
Yeah, well, I mean,
know.
you do have to, I mean, that's why it's like the most vulnerable thing is like not only giving yourself, but like just giving up. Not, you know, in the sense of like giving up that control, giving up.
No, yeah. It really is like as stubborn, like we're always going to be challenged with that stubborn feeling of like, I can control this. You You know, like I really actually can't let go and listen fully because I have to be doing something to make the scene work. I have to be doing something to make it. But the cool thing about film acting is like it not only is that not the reality, but the only way to the great work, I think, is really that surrendering. It's like you did all your beautiful homework.
Yeah.
You nailed it in your room the night before. Congratulations. But like what happens here, you know, is everything. It's like this is everything that exists in the universe.
Yeah.
It becomes very sort of cosmic and spiritual. It's like, no, there is no movie in the future. This is now. What the cameras are capturing right this second is all that is. And like that, and like releasing to that is the only way to, in my experience, to really get the unexpected, you know, work, which is the best work, I think.
What's interesting is I feel like something that allowed me to surrender more is just knowing the editing process and knowing how movies come up. And I think it kind of allowed me to, and I'm not, like, I never really thought about this until listening to you say this, but like, I think because I edited all my shorts that I had done and I was acting and stuff. And like in acting school, we also had filmmaking and we were making things weekly and editing together and like acting in each other's stuff. And I do think there's something seeing how a movie comes together and that you can pick and choose. And like, you know, you just have to have that one take and you get to find the best take in the edit as well. So I think there is like a part that's like, you can keep trying. I mean, again, this goes on, you know, if your director allows you, but I think there's something that I feel like I can surrender each take and try something new because you'll figure it out in the edit and it'll all come together. But if you don't have that resource or know how that process goes or have any idea even how all that comes together, or you don't trust the person who's putting it together, that would be terrifying.
That's you said it. That's sort of that's like the wall between you and great work is just trusting and letting go. It's like it is that simple, I think. And the amount of times I've seen really good actors not trust the director and their performances, you know, suffer. Like they get like right to that place where it's like almost great, you know, and that difference between, you know, the other thing between like good acting and like fuck me acting, it's like wow, is like it's a tiny little screw turn. It really is. I was up last night till 2 doing a self-tape.
Oh God.
And I was like, you know, like telling it, it's like it was simple and it was silly and whatever, but it really was like, wow, the difference between this take and that take is night and day.
Yeah.
And it was only like a couple breaths that I took that was different.
Wow.
You know, not that it was like amazing, but it was like, it's just so clear. Like it's easy to watch this one and it's not, and I'm like puzzled by this one. It's like, why is that? It's the same thing. Like, no, it's that little bit of like, I wasn't in like the control center trying to make.
When did you feel
happen.
like you have like, because it seems like you have a good grasp on like watching yourself and breaking that down and like being objective essentially?
Yeah.
Did you always feel that way? No.
No, and even so,
because it seems like, because I know a lot of actors are like, I can't watch myself, but it sounds like, you know, you're learning from watching yourself.
I wish I could not have to watch myself. I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Because I learned, because like
you
the
are
value,
learning from it. Yeah.
Yeah, the value is so high from watching my
I mean,
work.
that's how I feel as well. I would never have released the first things that I recorded of my acting because I could feel that like cringiness where I'm like, it's not it. Ooh, but I saw it in that little few seconds.
Yes.
That's where I was.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like develop that objectiveness about yourself.
Which I think is an important thing for film acting to like, there has to be a level of I mean, there's a great level of technicality, but like about how like powerful and simple you can be. To rewind, it's always hard watching something for the first time. It's always kind of impossible. It's always like I have to like like the Kubrick movie, like take my eyes over to watch. But I know I have to do it because it helps make the work less precious, which I think is important for me. Yeah. Because I'm like, it has
I think
to
that's
be
important
holy,
for everyone.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's okay. And then like realizing it's okay if I'm bad sometimes. It's okay. If I'm bad in a thing, that stinks, but like, it's okay. I'll live.
Also, I do think too, sometimes when like we think we're bad in something, like the majority of people don't think that.
That's true, actually.
Like
yeah,
we're
that's really
we're
true.
usually, most of the time, this isn't the case for everyone, but like we're usually like our biggest self-critic or whatever, biggest critic.
Yeah. And it's like, and then like the higher profile or bigger the opportunity, it's harder to let go. It gets harder and harder to let go. And it's harder and harder to live with the moments that you think aren't good that you're in. But like, it's okay. And it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like it's all gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Everybody relax. You know, like and it's an important rite of passage. It's another like big game changer for me. It was when I was in a movie and I doing the whole movie, I was like, I think this is bad and I'm bad in it. And that was my mantra every day for 20 days.
Oh man.
And once I watched it and realized it's not the worst thing in the world and I'm not the worst actor in the world, I was like, oh, I can live through this. Like I can live through deep humiliation and shame. I'll survive. And I'll live to do another day. And the antidote to that is actually more creativity and doing another job if you're lucky enough to work again, or doing an audition or something. And then it's like, oh wow, the heavens can open again. It's like, oh no, I was born to do this and I love doing this and I can be good again one day. Or like might be today. But like just like lowering the stakes, you know, it's always the kind of number one thing for the actor. Yeah.
There was a question that I wanted to ask somewhere in our conversation about, is there something that you feel like indie filmmakers could be doing to support an actor? Like maybe like a director could earn that trust?
I mean, forbid for me to like tell a director how to direct.
Yeah, you're not telling anyone. I'm asking specifically like what, and obviously all actors are different. So, but just like from your perspective, is there like something that a director could do to earn your trust?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think it's never a bad idea to let an actor have a couple takes before you get in there. Okay. You know what I mean? Like even before you start the scene. Maybe that's my answer is like, if you hired an actor who you trust, which is the other half of the equation,
which is hopefully why you hired them.
You have to trust them.
Yeah.
That like you can bet that they've been thinking about this for a long time, and that they've been throwing themselves around their room with ideas, trying to come up with what, you know. So getting in there and being like, okay, so this scene is this, and you know, it's like it can be counterintuitive to finding what it needs to be, because if you wrote a good screenplay and you hired a good actor and they've had time to work on this thing, like let's see what they come to the table with before really getting in there. And then the other thing I would say too is that like when it's really not working, that doesn't mean that like giving a little more slack can't make it amazing the next take. Like that it's not a fire in a mad hat. It's not red alert. It's not an emergency if the actor's doing poorly. Yeah. Like you could like breathe a little bit, give a little space and time. Yeah. And then the fucking take that might be beyond your comprehension could be the next take. Yeah. And I know that from experience on sets.
Right. Like letting go of your expectations of how something should go or a scene should go, because there was this one interview and breakdown I was listening to about Unbelievable on Netflix, which had phenomenal acting work. And it was Merritt Weaver had this scene, and it's like so much of the show had been leading up to this scene, and then she gets this like big moment, and essentially she did it, and she said to the director like, I thought I would feel more. But like luckily that director is like smart enough and safe enough to know like that's okay. Like that's how that like trust that. Again, it goes back to trust of like both the actor and the director trusting the material and trusting their work they're doing together, that like you might have thought it was going to be this thing, but you're trust that like, you know, this character, you know, this moment, and that like what you're feeling is correct for the character. And it kind of makes sense. Like I won't go into the whole story of the whole thing, but like it made sense that like she didn't feel that much and like she thought she would have.
Sort of and profound. Yeah.
Well, it kind of actually there was an actor that I was working with who I won't go into it, but like I kind of had a little bit of expectations of a scene and how it should go, and I kind of imagine it a little more emotional, which sounds like so like
sure. Yeah.
But anyways, we just like let him do it, and someone even came up to me afterwards, like my first AD, and was like, did you want to try like a different take how you thought? Because like we had discussed it before. And I was like, no, I think actually what he brought was so much more right for it. Because like, given this environment, given our relationship, given the context, like he wouldn't be emotional like how we initially thought. Like letting go of that expectation of like, oh, it should have been this. And it's like, no, see what they brought, and that they know the character now better than you most of the time.
Yeah.
And so like letting go of that expectation, I think exactly how he did it was how it needed to be done.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And what you just said, I had like 5 thoughts.
Sorry, I talk fast.
No, it's good.
And I jump all over the place.
Yeah,
but
I think like I would say, yeah, like within that, it's also not like I'm also not trying to communicate like as a director. If you have a strong vision for what you want and you have a conviction around it, doesn't mean like just abandon that for what the actor. So the actor can just kind of figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
You know, but at that same time, sometimes it is like, if you really know what your story is as a filmmaker and you know like really what needs to be communicated, we often have this idea that it has to be reaching some sort of emotional place will fit the storytelling bill. And that will be the thing that then hits it if there's the tear or the whatever. Yeah. But often it's like, it can be found in different ways and kind of, frankly, more inventive ways.
Yeah.
Through the text or through behavior or through a cut, that like can communicate even, stronger than the character, sort of feeling something or like trying to make it seem like the character's feeling something. Yeah. Rather than like, probably like the discovery that the character is actually making, that maybe there's emotionality to it, but it's often just more like the character going through something and experiencing something. Yeah.
And usually that's like more human too, is like humans aren't like out here just being emotional and open.
No,
like
my God.
We're feeling them and then we're suppressing them and moving and like figuring out how to like navigate everything around us.
We're trying to hide all of our feelings.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I mean, and that's the real challenge and like acrobatic, feat of great actors is like you see someone trying to not feel that feeling. But
it's coming up.
Get through what they're trying to get through. Yeah. Communicate what they're trying to communicate, through the great feeling that's preventing them from saying the thing,
So we were talking about things that a director could maybe do to earn trust or set up a safe space. Do you think there's something like even on the day? Because I don't know how you feel, but like when there's like so much happening and stuff like that, would you like even like have a moment on set where like everyone like together, like I don't know, I'm picturing like some sort of like meditative moment.
Yeah, there's like all the
like everything everywhere, like every morning they got together and had some sort of like fun theater exercise or something. Like
right.
I think little things like that where we just take a step back from our day of like the busyness and the craziness to just like check in with each other or be present with one another. Or like remind each other what we're here to do. I don't know. Yeah. Like I feel like it's really important, and it doesn't have to take that much time or money or whatever. Like it could just be
how much. Because imagine the producer, how much is it going to cost for them to do a kumbaya check-in for 5 minutes? Like the AD, like all right.
No, yeah. I mean that is how it could be.
I just my good friend Skylar Bible just worked on a Jay Duplass film that's premiering at Sundance.
Oh, cool!
That I'm stoked to see.
What's it called? Oh, sorry. We can cut that out.
Cut it? No, you don't have to cut it. I don't remember the title of it. All I saw was
I'll look it up later.
Yeah. But he talked about them getting together every day, and they'd have like a little check-in of like, hey, how.
Oh, I love that.
I remember it was like a little meditative 30 seconds, and then it was, and it sounded great and stuff. I think like that's a good question, and that's a real form fit kind of thing, because
for sure. I mean, maybe it's just something people marinate on, because obviously you need to pick and choose what's going to work best for you and the film and the schedule and stuff. But I think it's worth like marinating on or journaling about or thinking about it at least of like
trying,
or experimenting. Of like, is there something I could do to like help ground everyone, especially my actors who need to be the most grounded.
I heard an interview, an actor who works with the Coen brothers, always goes like, "Hey, how was it after?" And they're just always like, "Yeah, it's good." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I want that. I want." Because it helps quell my people pleasing, director pleasing, like puppy dog, like the thing, like the ego thing that wants them to be like, oh, good job.
Pat on the back.
Like, which is more just insecurity and wanting to feel reassured. It helps just like, no, we're all like, we're in this zone doing this thing. And it's also a matter of like, let's not get too excited yet. Like we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a long editing process where it might be some incompetent guys cutting this movie together. And this magic we found is going to be gone. So it's like, there's something about like, let's just really focus on the work and like, you know what I mean? And
well, I mean, that's everything. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like I don't appreciate man, that was sick. Some high fives and stuff, but like, there's something about the highs and lows that are internal. It's high and low enough inside everyone.
Well, because now you're also like relying on this external thing.
Yes, and then it's like, okay, so the big
also
scene
problematic,
where everyone's like, oh boy, the times that I've been, I've had a scene and it's not working, and afterwards you just look around and you see like the grips are like trying not to make eye contact, and the PA who you've been chummy with is like, yeah, man, it's good. And it's like, fuck, like, we're struggling. Yeah, and it just makes it work. It's better that you don't want that either. It's better that I think for me that we're all like,
acting really is just like another piece in that larger puzzle.
Yeah,
because again, like when you kind of get behind the scenes, and like some of my actor friends who are more so actors but have gotten pieces, like get to do little things here and there behind the scenes, like it makes them realize too, like, oh, my job really is just like a small piece in a larger puzzle. And I think that's actually helpful as an actor, like refreshing. It's like less pressure, less off your shoulders, that like the whole movie is like, all the weight's on you. And it's like, no, it's not. Like it's on all of us. We're sharing it.
Right. I think like befriending and getting to know filmmakers and producers as well, particularly, as much as directors, like actually being like in the rooms with them, like seeing the amount of questions they have to answer and things they have to, as you know,
and
very
think
well,
about,
the things like that talk about back to like the real estate of your brain and your like spirit. Like how much can you really spend on catering? Like, if you're the producer, that's why ideally you have a person who just does the catering and the trucks and the parking, and then as a director you can do the art.
Yeah.
But usually we're all doing several things, even acting. It's like, I'm also my wardrobe guy, and I'm also like have to make sure the mic's not screwy because there's no sound guy. Like that's also the sets I'm on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to have to eat,
Yeah, which I would love to dig into, not to end our conversation, but like what about either a film or a director makes you say yes, knowing that it's going to be that type of set? Like when it's just like a true, like boots in the ground indie film, why are you still saying yes to that? Because I mean, it's obviously going to be hard. And I don't mean, because obviously we're here because we're passionate. We love to do the work, things like that. But like, you can't say yes to everything. So what about a story or a film or director is making you say yes to those scenarios?
Well, doing a feature film, I'm at a place where in my experience and career where like doing really any feature film is like a monumental learning experience. It changes my life every time I do a movie if I apply myself to trying the best I can try, which is another thing of like, you either are doing that or you're not doing that. Like you're either dedicating everything you have to it or you're not. There's no like 90%. It's like you're doing it or you're not, and you know that you're not, at least for me.
Yeah.
So when I apply myself fully, each movie changes my life, whether it's amazing or terrible. And I've run the gamut. Not terrible, but they're always learning experiences. So it's like, why would I turn down this thing that could like change my life? That if and when I get that next bigger opportunity that's going to be really challenging, I have this experience on this movie that's gonna that will have taught me something that's I'm gonna apply to this next job. So in a way, like education, you know, and fulfillment, and all the beautiful things that we love about acting, which is it's fun, it's get to ruminate and think about the world and like.
Well, I think coming from theater, because that's how I feel about theater. I think that's probably why we also feel about it that way, is because having come from theater where no one's ever like, I think most plays that I've ever done that are like off Broadway, it's like, you get like $200 stipend or something like that.
But like on top, from.
But yeah, you're doing it because of the love and how you can grow as an actor. That's why I still will do plays, because it pushes me, and it like I'm constantly learning something about my craft and that like toolkit of yours.
Yeah.
But I don't know if every actor feels that way, though. I do think that's very like a theater actor feeling.
And it's a reality to it of like all this being said, I had an opportunity to work on a feature that I turned down recently, which was like maybe the first time I've ever done that, and I was conflicted over it because it was with collaborators who I love and would like to work on, but it was a matter of like, can I devote it's like, can I actually give this thing for the next 2 months everything I have? And the answer was no.
I think that's a really exciting and important step in your career. Like, that's huge, because that's...
I hope so, yeah.
No, I mean, like, that's good for you. Like, I think it's important to have that moment where you're like, oh, no, I can't. Like, I don't want to devote... Because I mean, you're at a level where you know what it's going to take. And I think it's also, it's... respect that like you would say no to something that you wouldn't give yourself to, that you're not just gonna like say yes and half-ass it,
And I was completely honest with the director, who's a good friend, also acting in the film, about like, I just can't give this 100%. And he was like, oh yeah, I don't want you if you're not gonna give 100%. In a respectful way. I was like, you need somebody who's not gonna sleep till this is wrapped.
Exactly.
And it was a demanding thing. So it was like, so I'm at that place where it's like, oh yeah, wow, I really don't want to not do a movie for 2 months. I'd rather be doing something, but if I'm actually occupied just from other areas and other opportunities that like...
Well, because if you give something to that, it's going to take away from another, and not to like have like a scarce mindset about it, but like... Yeah, I mean, there's been, I think, 3 films now that I've been offered to direct that I've turned down because, I mean, directing too, like it's many years of your life. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I want you to have someone who's going to give it their all to this. And this is not something that I can devote 3 years of my life to. Like but like I wish the best.
3 years. How insane is that? What other job is like maybe like a rocket engineer? It's like, I'm going to do a project for 3 years.
Which could also, it could be more, it could be less. You never know.
But is it even more for a director to be like...
Right, like an actor, it is...
Pre-production, production, and post-production.
And distribution, and then also if you have to do the press or whatnot, like it's a lot to consider. If you're enjoying the next film and want to help us keep making the show, we're now accepting tax-deductible donations through our partner, the Alliance of Women Directors. This helps us keep sharing honest conversation, insights, and practical tools free and accessible to artists. The link is in the show notes, or you can visit allianceofwomendirectors.org/fiscal-sponsorship. This episode is brought to you by executive producer Jeffrey Weber. How do you like to prepare? Like, do you like to have like months in advance or just like weeks, and do you prepare on your own? Do you bring someone on, like a coach or anyone?
I haven't worked with a coach specifically for preparation for a feature, although I would like to. It's like, that's something
Really?
I've been thinking about lately of like, I should like in a proper way, really work with somebody. But ideally, I have months. I mean, I would love to have like 3+ months to like sit with the script and to like really like let it become a part of my life.
Right. But I also know with a lot of the stuff that you're doing lately, you're like inventing it on the day, right?
There's literally no script. Yes. The 3 that he's done 5 or 6 films this way that are like
including this upcoming one at South by.
Yes, including Erupjca.
Thank you. I was gonna try to say it again, but I was like, I think it's been too long since I said it.
You can riff however you want to judge it.
Erupjca.
I like a hard J. Why not? So he will come up with basically like half of an outline, like the first half of a film's outline. This scene does that. This character is that. Then this happens, they go to this place, and then that happens. And then he'll get actors together, and usually for like a month or so, we'll sort of contribute to that outline. So for Erupjca, it was the 4 actors. It's myself, Charli XCX, Jeremy O'Harris, and Lena Gora.
Oh, he's a playwright or
he is a playwright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My voice teacher from my school just worked with him on Broadway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He's an amazing.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know he's in it too.
Yes. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had collaborated with Pete on another film, and they became really good friends. And now he's also producing. It's a producer as well as actor and writer on Erupjca. So like the four of us and Pete were kind of, corresponding, giving ideas, starting the slow writing process of what this first half of the movie basically is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the location, which happened to be Warsaw, Poland
Cool.
for this one. And for the few days before, we have part of his process is like we go to a thrift store and have like a fashion costume day.
That sounds like kind of like this like early bonding that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Of like,
No,
let's get
exactly.
coffee or let's get pizza or like let's have rehearsal. Like that sounds like a fun, trusting, like a foundation for a film.
Exactly is that. So for like 2 days, it's just me, Charlie, Jeremy, Lena, and Pete, and then one of the producers just driving around Warsaw, having lunch, going to the thrift store. He takes us to one of the locations we want to shoot at, and we like talk about it, and then we go, and then we like have a little fashion show where we buy a bunch of like options and we bring them all back and kind of talk about it as like a group. Like, what is this? What is that? We like that. And we kind of come up with the costumes, and that's like another little like, piece of the foundation of like, okay, cool. This is what my guy's going to wear.
Cool.
That we're going to start shooting in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here we go.
Super collaborative though.
Yes, very, very collaborative. And then from there, we'll start kind of writing basically the dialogue for the first few scenes that we shoot on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the text that we come up with is usually like, is either basically the day or night before, or that on the day itself, we come up with the dialogue,
And then how do you find your preparation ties into that? Because is it like, since you're kind of creating the character all together, is it less pressure maybe to like have this like long preparation? Because you just said you would love to have months.
Yeah,
but...
in a weird way, there's the kind of like, it's less pressure in that like, I have zero control.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have no choice but to surrender.
Yeah.
And if you like shake hands with that, the pressure is off, in a way.
Well, it seems to have been working for y'all.
I think so. Yeah. Like it's certainly when you say yes to it, it works.
Cool.
Like, when you just say yes to like the channels of creativity flowing, by being like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think this line will be funny. It's elicited kind of a response from the five of us. Let's just do it and we're going to shoot it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And don't have time to like get in your writer brain too much.
Yeah. Which
or your like actor brain.
That must have like a fun, like a good energy to it.
It does. When it works, it does.
Yeah.
So we're with the text for a day, maybe a few hours, and then we'll shoot about 3, maybe 4 scenes a day. Scenes are all 2, maybe 3 pages. So it's all pretty sort of simple, and it's like set up. He'll come up, he'll riff on some ideas of how to shoot it.
Yeah.
Have some fun ideas. We'll like very quickly just kind of go through the blocking, and then we'll shoot. And we'll usually shoot not extensive, but we'll get 5, 7, 10 takes of each thing.
Cool. How was it working across like a pop star? Was that intimidating at all?
It was intimidating. Yeah, I mean, anytime I work with
anyone, you don't want to think about that in the moment, but like now looking back on it.
Well, the funny thing is like, I usually like to keep my sort of foreknowledge of my collaborators kind of minimal.
100%.
It just feels respectful in a way to me to be like, I'm not going to come with baggage of what you have or haven't done.
Yeah, I met Nick Jonas once and I pretended I didn't know who he was.
That works. That actually works sometimes.
I was like, I'm Jess. He was like, I'm Nick. I'm like, pleasure.
Yes. I had that recently with somebody who I was like, holy crap, that's,
I don't know. I mean, that's,
it was Richard E. Grant. And I met him at a film festival. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, just pretend he's just a guy at a festival.
He's just a guy.
And we chatted and had this nice conversation. And I was like, oh, wow, I was maybe put together a journey as I wanted to, fanboy.
I mean, to be fair, like in terms of the work, like, that doesn't matter anyways when it comes to the work. So I think it's good.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't and shouldn't, because it only affects it negatively, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't want to come to the table saying like, "Oh my God, this person's a genius."
Yeah.
And what
Well, I think
am
also that
or,
person might feel now not fully like able to be free in front of you or like with you or.
Yeah. So I try to come to the table, and I'll even like avoid watching or, in this case, listening to their work before coming to the table. It was hard to avoid Brat because it was everywhere and it's so good. So, it was an interesting place because it was August of 2024. So Brat had just come out like a month or two before. So it was like really still in a way like ascending to where I think she was just, kind of like taking it all in. And she was grateful, I think, for an experience to kind of get away from.
Oh, cool.
Get away from just the busyness of her schedule to be, she was there for 10 days and we were all just hanging out, like having coffee and pastries and coming up with scenes and then walking around Warsaw and acting and shooting the scenes.
I'm excited to see it.
And, it really was like you try to empty yourself of like preconceived notions and be like, what is our relationship,
Definitely.
And
I love that, yeah.
And it's always that way. It's like we had 2 days to sort of hang out and then play lovers who've been together for years, and that's always challenging. I don't know that it'll ever. It's like acting is a thing, as you know, that like kind of start over every time. Every new job, it's like, okay, back to square one. Like, how do I do this? How do I find the reality that we're supposed to create this relationship and stuff? It's always a puzzle. It's always challenging.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing, I think, because it's not like, okay, I have played a husband before, so now I'm ready to. It's like, no, everything is. It's all new and it's all different. And
you are someone who have been on multiple, like many features now. I think like micro budgets to much larger because Wolf of Snow Hollow was like 2 million, right?
Yes, that was was
that technically a studio or it's like a small studio?
Yes, that was Orion Classics.
Okay, so
technically it's MGM.
And then also obviously micro budgets that have been either in the moment or scripts were already written. So what are those mistakes you're seeing?
Well, it's funny because it's like everyone's kind of making mistakes all the time. Like frankly, it's like,
okay, so mistakes that aren't good to be made because like sometimes there's good mistakes to be made, and then you learn and grow, or it leads to a happy accident.
I think most actors don't want a lot of don't want a monologue of direction.
Okay.
For me, it's like, especially for like in between takes or something, and it's like a director coming up and trying to articulate what they want in a literary or like storytelling perspective. I think doesn't really help often.
Okay.
I think it just goes back to like what acting is, which is like doing things to one another. Acting is like, I'm trying to get something out of the other character and I'm using the words to do so.
Yeah.
And it's like, if a director can kind of like link in with that, like see through the actor's perspective a bit and be like, no, it really needs to be, just like simple active words.
Yeah.
Or even if it's an emotion, honestly, like actors like we don't want result notes. We don't want emotional notes.
Right.
Part of me is like, that's okay. Like this scene needs to be just sadder. Like honestly, it's like I can do something with that.
Yeah.
Without like playing sad, but like change in my behavior.
Yeah.
How to deepen it. It's amazing how just simple directions can actually unlock actors a lot more than a whole sort of speech around what this moment means.
Yeah.
What you don't want to get is caught. You don't want like the energy to start like going up into here.
It's
like you want to keep it in. You're not thinking and you're a zombie, but like
no, but that's a good way to look at it.
It's about like how do you help your actors just stay in their bodies, and stay loose.
Yeah.
Not that it's their job to puppet the actors, but like.
But no, I mean it is you want to support them the best you can.
Yeah, and I think like I don't get me wrong, I love getting nerdy about acting and the characters and talking about the story, but like really on set between takes, I don't think is the place.
Okay,
we just don't have the time.
Yeah,
it usually gets us in our heads. Give me something that I can like do right now that might help, and that might take a level of removal from the director. Of like, I want this to be sad, but if I tell them to just be sad, then they're going to start making sad faces. But it's like, maybe just like raise the stakes a little bit. how much does this mean to you on a scale
Some
of
more
1 to 10?
active directions, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, maybe it's like an 8 or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
cool, try 8.5. It's like, okay, cool. Like that's like I can do that with my body and my
Yes.
voice right now.
Cool.
Like, and keeping it kind of short and simple is just like the way to go,
Yeah.
I think.
Do you see any mistakes outside of working with actors that you see people making? Like indie filmmakers?
I think everyone works better when the energy is calm and focused.
Okay.
It's like it's almost like, well, duh, but like no, it's not duh, because a lot of people feel the opposite. People feel like I need to be to do my best work or whatever, But I think like keeping it calm and simple.
Okay.
Which is easy to say, really challenging to do when you're, but it like that, just keeping that energy focused and because it's long and you burn out with like energy and like and as much.
Well, that energy will probably crash too.
And you'll crash, definitely.
Yeah.
But like if the director can just kind of be someone that the folks on set can go to be and know that they're not gonna get like berated, like shut down, or like over enthusiastically sent up, but
yeah,
I don't know. If I was a director, I would focus on like being a presence that can be approachable and like accessible. I think.
Cool. Yeah,
it's not really an answer, but
no, it is. It is.
what
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, we're definitely coming up on time, but just a couple last questions. So, as I've already said, you've been in a lot of successful indie films. Do you think that those filmmakers or films are doing something that makes them, have that success, or do you think it's, just also like that little dash of luck?
There's a silly answer, which is follow through. These are people who like I'm going to make a movie and I'm going to do the movie come hell or high water, and they go through with it and they dedicate themselves to finishing it. Another thing that might feel like, well, duh, but it's like, no, you have to keep, the filmmakers who I see who are really successful, they like do it, and then no matter how that movie goes, they do the next one.
Yeah.
And they make it happen. Well, had the money, but getting budgets, that's, they find a way to like, I just got to get back into the ring again. And that's how they learn. And directors who have that North Star of, I'm here to make something really cool that people are going to respond to. And that's really all that matters. Instead of this using it as a stepping stone in my career, it just doesn't work that way. I don't think. Not really in making a great film. And what's more impressive is like, wow, look at this movie that was really given its due by the filmmaker. That's more impressive than like, here's a couple movies I kind of did just so that I could get a meeting or that I can say that I have 2 features or whatever. It's like, all the people I work with toil sleeplessly over every element of the film, from sound to props to acting to score, and they follow through and they just keep producing as much as they can.
I love that. I feel like it kind of leads into my next and final question of what advice do you give to someone making their next film?
It's like each movie, it's not the end of the world, and it's not if it's not good. It's okay if this movie fails. The best filmmakers in the world all have crappy movies. It's like you will learn from it and you'll get to the next. Go into it. It's going to be great. Don't worry. But like, your whole life doesn't ride on this movie being received a certain way. Making something really special and important is the most important thing, and that's like what we're here doing.
Well, and I feel like there's so much out of our control in terms of like the result or the so-called success, and like that word doesn't even like mean as much. Like it's all over the place right now, right? In terms of like what is success, like getting into one of the top festivals, or getting bought out of a festival, or getting distribution, or getting theatrical, or getting your investors' money back, like, or getting 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like there's like this whole like span of what people could consider success. And I feel like just like reframing what success means to you. And I think that's kind of what you were saying too, of just like make something you feel good about, that you're excited about.
Yeah. And, there's of course a reality to investors and, needing to make money and this, that, and the other. But like at the end of the day, just where we are, nothing can prevent you from making another film. That's just true.
Yeah.
Because you can make a movie like Jessica, which costs 10 grand or whatever it was that he made with his friends. And it's like one of my proudest things I've been a part of. So it's like there is always an avenue to the next job. And I see that in my director friends who have gotten great success and then nothing came and they had to go back to like raising 50 grand to do their next movie. But like, you know, it really is like, I just believe in like, it's just the repetition of it, the quantity of it, like get to the next one. And the next one will open new doors and different doors. And it's like, it really is about just keeping it flowing and not going, you know, 1, 2, 3 years without making something. Again, I'm not a director.
No,
so
but
it's like easy for me to say, but as an actor too, it's like, you can't go too many months in a row without getting in front of the camera and making something.
Well, yeah,
That's
you have
when
to keep your craft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like being an athlete, which is what you said earlier too. Like you have to like stay agile. You have to keep moving, keep training, like do something that keeps you in the game, that keeps you, you know, ready.
That's where the inspiration and joy is too. It's like, not only do you need to do that to keep your professionalism and your craft up to snuff, but
also
like that's where the joy is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you need to, for me, I have amnesia. I need to remind myself every day that I love acting.
Yeah.
Or else you go too many days and I'm like, what's going on? What am I, you know, but then you do it and it's like, oh wow, yes. I got to do that work to stay inside of it. And even some of my filmmaker friends who've gone on, they're feature filmmakers now, they'll do a short film between movies. They'll raise 10, 20 grand, find a way to like make that happen, to like do a really solid short film that play a festival, and that becomes a new avenue for relationships and stuff. It's like, you know, it's like, it really is about just churning it over and continuing, and like, it makes the failures sting less and mean less when you have the next thing.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
In my experience and from the filmmakers that I have seen and gotten the privilege to know and work with, you know.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on South by Southwest. Hopefully I'll see you. But
yes.
If not, I'm sure you're going to have the best time with your family. That's awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Jessica.